Well, I'll say this. First half, as I'm watching it, I didn't expect it to be a 76-point rout. But I'll ask you this. First half, as you're watching the game, I had this realization that's not this profound realization, but somewhat of an early season revelation of, hey, who's the best player on this team? Who do you think at the end of that first half? Yeah, it's Ava. Like I hadn't really, you probably saw it a long time before me, and maybe Hannah will end up being that at season's end. But to this point, with what I've seen through 2 games and an exhibition, Ava's the best player on this team right now.
Agreed.
And and I say that not just because of the numbers, but just she's everywhere. I mean, she runs everywhere. Like she's on, working on both ends. I think she's got again, I'm not the expert here, but she's still got I think she's going to struggle with foul trouble if she doesn't do a better job maintaining verticality. That's just one little thing that I've noticed with her, but she's still young. Like you said, I mean, she's a second-year player who's now a starter, and she's having fun. I mean, you mentioned last post game, you said this team doesn't look like they're quite as happy-go-lucky as maybe last year's team with Lucy. But I've noticed Ava is somebody who's always smiling and high-fiving her teammates. And, they still have some of that with Jada and Callie on the bench, but they are on the bench. And so some of their leaders right now, Chit Chat Wright and Hannah Stolke, they're more lead by example. So I think it's going to be real powerful to have Ava as a young leader who is vocal, but also leads by example, because right now her game, she was dominant in that first half when she needed to be, and she didn't really need to do anything down the stretch. In fact, you mentioned her backup. Of course, Layla Hays, she's our RTI Threads player of the game, and you could have gone a couple of different directions here, but let's give it to Layla. 20 points, 9 on the field, 5 rebounds. She's going to have to improve her foul shot, 2 of 5. And by the way, speaking of shooting, I'll be marginally critical of Ava on this as well. She doesn't have a jump shot.
No.
So, that is what it is. The great news is Hannah Stolke appears to have developed somewhat of a confident jump shot. She's made 2 or 3 threes now through 2 games, and she's at least proven she can stretch the floor a little bit. So that takes some pressure off of people like Layla and Ava. But I don't think either one of those bigs can shoot the ball. But
I don't think so either.
And I think certainly Ava's a step ahead of Layla as it relates to her body, the physical side of things. We had this conversation last time. Layla's got size, but Ava's a better athlete, and she's slimmed down a little bit, I think, although I think she came in pretty slim. So that'll be interesting to see what strength and conditioning do for Layla Hays, but she's our RTI Threads player of the game, and she got a lot of run as this game got out of hand. Talk a little bit about what you've seen from the big from Alaska.
I think that, she had a pretty, I will say this, from when I first saw her play in the exhibition till now, there's like things that I was like, I wonder. And then the next game, something will happen. I'm like, okay, she's got this. Oh, okay, she's got that. I think today she showed a little bit more athleticism than I thought she was capable of. Like, I thought she was very Addison O'Grady, but she's not Addison O'Grady. Like, she's got a little bit to her. She had that and one. I've never seen Addison twist in the air, like, ever. So I think that she does have a little bit. Obviously, she's not Ava. That's a whole different ballgame when we're talking about athleticism. But she's definitely a little bit more athletic than I originally thought she was. And I think that, like I said, it's going to be a nice 1-2 punch for them, because a lot of the times people are like, okay, let's get, Ava on the bench. We keep saying that she is our best player as of right now, right? So if they get her on the bench, there's not a huge drop-off in regards to Layla coming in the game, as far as what we've seen. So that's a very nice 1-2 punch when it comes to that 5 position that we are so fortunate to have.
Absolutely. And, so far, so good as far as staying out of foul trouble in the post. They're going to have more difficult matchups. In fact, they come their way pretty quickly. I mean, Drake and UNI both present challenges. He says, I'm honestly worried about how we'll do once we start playing some real competition.
Our next game will be fun.
Yeah, but I don't know that this team, has there been anything that you've seen so far that's given you reason to be worried? Like, I think there's still unknowns, but I don't know that I agree with Spencer on being worried.
No, I wouldn't say I'm worried per se. I think that we're young. I think that's the one piece that I get, a little nervous with because we are pretty young overall as a team, and we have a lot of new pieces. So, yeah, that would be the only thing I think right now. I mean, the other thing would be 3-point shooting. I'm not gonna. That's still on my list. Don't get me wrong, because just because you were able to hit one game doesn't mean that you, you figured it out. But yeah. Our next game will definitely tell us. I'll tell you that.
But I thought Drake wasn't a real team.
Doesn't matter. I've said this many times. Drake, I don't know what it is about Drake. Every year, it is like so difficult to play them.
They're good. They're good.
God, it irritates me.
They are
but
good.
I'm saying, even if we are so much better, right? Like we're ranked, we're this, we're that. Even if they finish the season under 500, I don't know what it is about that game. But it has always been tough to play Drake every year. Hell, since I was there. So again, they could finish under 500 that year. It does not matter. When we play them, I don't know what it is. Woo! It's stressful every time. But you know what? Hey, we'll see.
I have not researched Drake yet, Cash. What do you know about the Bulldogs this year? Do you know anything?
Doesn't even matter. I don't. It doesn't matter.
James, is Denabir still there?
No, I think she was senior last year, wasn't she? I'm not pretty sure she was senior last year.
I'm pretty sure she graduated.
Okay.
Yeah, she was a senior last year, I'm pretty sure. And then UNI is on Sunday, and they're rebuilding too. They got like pretty much a new team too. So, but that one's at UNI, so who knows how that one will go? But
that's always a difficult. I mean, when you travel on the road to play those teams, it's even more difficult. I'm sure, Kachine, you would attest to that.
You get Drake at home, and then you go to.
Kachine, did you win at Drake and at UNI every time you went?
I never lost to Drake or UNI, but those games Drake was hard. There were plenty of times where we blew out UNI, but
interesting.
That Drake game was always fun.
Yeah, and just last year we brought this up.
Especially there at their place, we did blow them out at our home a lot, but at their house I don't know, maybe it's the gym.
But
it was always a struggle there.
Yeah, ask Fran McCaffrey's early teams. The men went up to the McLeod Center in Cedar Falls and lost as well. So, it's those are difficult trips to make. There's a reason why the men don't play Drake and UNI anymore.
They are, but they're always like, I mean, I would not want to play them.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, I'm glad they play them too, and I'm upset the men don't. That was a question I asked Ben McCollum when he first got hired. I said, is there interest in getting Drake and UNI back on the schedule? And he didn't really say yes or no, but I don't think that'll happen on the men's side. I'm frankly surprised the women still do it.
Why not?
But I tell you, the men see reason not to do it on the men's side.
Iowa State lost to UNI last year at UNI.
Yeah, I say this because, and I hope nobody takes this the wrong way, the men's side with all four of them can have a lot of negative things. Meaning, like, I could see Iowa State and Iowa losing to those two teams at any point in time. Probably every year at some point, right? Like every other year, something of those sorts. It's not many times. Now, there are some upsets. I'm not going to say that. There are not many times that Iowa or Iowa State is not winning. So for us, it's not horrible, right? Like, it's not a bad thing because, I mean, we're probably going to play Iowa State, whatever. But if you don't do Drake, you don't do UNI, it's not going to make a difference. Now, Iowa or Iowa State will lose to Drake and or UNI, depending on the year. So I think that sometimes nobody wants to do that. That could hurt you recruiting-wise. That could hurt you in many different ways. But until either one of them become full-blown powerhouses, which I don't think that's a thing. Yeah, I can see why they don't, because you're giving Drake and UNI ammunition against you.
But what is the difference with the women doing it?
I don't think that it's only Iowa and Iowa State for the most part. When was the last time we got an upset? It doesn't hurt us, is what I'm saying. It does not hurt Iowa or Iowa State to play Drake or UNI.
Iowa State just lost last year at UNI.
How many times does that happen?
Well, it didn't happen on a lot of the men's side either. But what's the point? I'm being devil's advocate because I like the game.
Yeah, I understand.
But what I'm saying
again, we're talking recruiting, right? We're talking so many different things.
Okay, recruiting.
If Drake and UNI are beating Iowa or Iowa State often, once every other year, things like that, which we know is very capable, right? So if that is the case, now you have a one up on them on many different aspects. We all know on the women's side, it's Iowa State. That's it. As far as Drake and UNI, look what they did with Drake and UNI before. They went to Sweet 16s. They went to throughout the years. They went to different things. Drake and UNI have not done that on the women's side. So I think that for them, they're like, you know what? You stay over there, do what you do. We're gonna stay over here, do what we do, and that's that. From the women's side, it's not as until. I'm not saying Drake and UNI can't get to that point, but maybe they will with different things. But on the men's side, there's no plus side to it besides you potentially losing.